All right, good afternoon, everybody. Phil Resch here, and it is our weekly sales training call. This is actually one that I've really been looking forward to. So, we're going to talk about some opportunities here for you regarding how you can enhance your practice, how you can, again, go above what we would say the norm is on just selling life insurance, but being more of that holistic planner and really taking yourself upstream versus just the norm. And so it's not always what you know, but who you know. And so we have an expert in the pension world here today, Mark Ditondo. He came to our great collaboration event that we had over the beginning of the summer. And it was probably the most sought after presentation that we had because, once again, people just don't understand the huge value proposition that you have at your fingertips and the resources that you have by, a large insurance company here. So I'll pass the floor over to you, Mark. Really, really, really appreciate the time. And for anybody who wants to ask a question, uh, please funnel them through the chat. Or if you want to put your little hand emoji up, that's fine too. But Mark, take it away.
Yeah, thank you, Philip. So I'd like to do it questions as we go because I'm old and I might forget what I talked about. So fire away.
Sounds good. Um, all right. So let's go through the deck because I know people will actually have some questions as we go through it, if that's all right. And then I know quite a few people in here normally ask a lot of questions. So I think they just need to see a little bit. Like I would love, as part of this, I would love to understand the process. So someone has a business owner, they have a prospect. What do we do? How is it? How do we go through the process, especially with someone like you guys, to really kind of take the charge on that?
Yeah, so the first step is filling out what we call the golden ticket. And the
Mm.
golden ticket consists of a proposal request form, which is a one-page form, as basic questions, and then a census with name, date of birth, date of hire, if they were terminated this year, salary. W-2 is important. Job classification is paramount. We want as many different job classifications as possible, and number of hours worked. Once we get that, we send it to the top there, proposal dash request. And in 3 to 5 business days, we get you back a proposal. And from there, we can go one of two ways. You guys can do it on your own if you're comfortable, or I do a Zoom with you and the agent, or I'm sorry, the client, or the client and the CPA, or we meet with the CPA first and then go to the client. If the case is large enough, I travel every week and I closed 104 cases so far this year, guys. Last
So
month I did 1.3 million in life premium.
I was gonna say,
So,
so to whet the appetite, what would you say an average, profit share, cash balance, pension type plan is, for, some of the cases that you've worked on?
well, the average commission is about 50 grand. The biggest one I did so far this year, she made 725,000.
Okay. So what would be a good prospect for a $725,000 comp case or a $50,000? Like, what are you
Very, very
seeing?
small company, 8 employees, high net worth owners. Both were making 350,000 plus. Husband, wife, son, 2 sons, and 5 employees.
And that led to 700,000 in commission.
Well, the father's contribution was life premium was 269,000. One
Mhm.
employee's was 199,000. The third employee was 70,000. I mean, yeah.
Wow. And so let me ask you this, when you have plans like that, um, and let's say next year comes around, they drop another 269, another 190. Is there compensation again for stuff like that, or?
Oh, our renewal, I mean, you should go over their Lafayette Life's renewal structure with your agents because I don't, I think I think it's strong, but I'm not sure what your setup is. So it's
Well,
unfair for me to comment on that.
yeah, I was gonna say just general street, and you're talking like 4%. I can't remember off the top of my head.
It's
I'll
at least five.
five. Okay. So, even from that standpoint, uh, those renewals are going to be fantastic. And on top of that, one of the things that I really like is trips, incentives, and opportunities. So I'm sure that person who did the 700,000 is going to be going to Ireland next
Well, she's an
year.
IMO, so IMOs
Oh,
don't count on Lafayette trips.
okay.
Sorry, guys.
Well, 400,000 gets you to Ireland next year. And so you could think about three, four pension plans and you're on your way there.
Yeah,
Um,
that's on the Columbus side, right?
no, is Lafayette part of that too? I thought they were.
No, not on
Oh,
IMOs.
okay, then never mind. Well, I would
Yeah.
love to say, Mark, if you could, because I know we can do Columbus, but from the Lafayette standpoint, what's the benefit of doing whole life inside these plans versus
Well,
IULs?
as I go through the slide deck, when you do a defined benefit, you want built-in guarantees. And unfortunately, an IUL does not have a built-in guarantee component. Now,
Yeah.
I'm not saying you shouldn't do IUL. I think it's a very, very good product to use in a profit sharing plan. And I'm a
Mhm.
big, big component of it. And 25% of the contribution can go into that. And as you'll see, when we do these plans, when we do what we call a combo plan, everybody's getting a profit sharing contribution.
Mhm.
So you could theoretically put Columbus Life on the profit sharing side and Lafayette Life on the cash balance side.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. I didn't even think of comboing the two. Um,
Yeah.
Now Jay, who has his hand up, he has a lot of business owners that he frequents and talks to. So Jay,
Yeah,
I'd love to hear your question.
yeah, thanks, Phil. So, yeah, this is a great opportunity that just with life insurance license, we can do this. This is an awesome product, I would say. And second, let's say if my client says, hey, I don't want to go into a life insurance option, right? So is there anything else that we can do other than whole life or any other product?
Well, inside of a cash balance plan, there's no restrictions on what product you use. You can use crypto if you want. Okay. But in a defined benefit plan, if you lose money, you're making it up the next year. If you make too much money, your contribution is going to go down. So first and foremost, this is a tax play. Okay.
Right,
I work in all 49 states, excluding New York, but in California, I save people 52% on taxes.
right. So if the client chooses something other than whole life, what options do we have from Lafayette?
We have our group annuity,
Okay.
which is a fixed index annuity. You can use all annuity or life. That's the only two choices we have right now.
Okay. That's awesome. I get it now.
Hey guys, I have a
Awesome.
question. I don't know how to do the hand raise.
Go ahead, Joe.
Okay, I guess I mean I've been on here since the meeting started, but somewhere along the line I've lost what we're. I don't understand this program. Can you give me an overview of what we're talking about from the beginning?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's very interesting, but I have a lot of business owners that I do work with.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
because you've talked about large contributions um, of upwards of $100,000, $200,000 a year, I think, in the life policy part of these.
Mhm.
But you're saying you can set these up in various ways with an annuity or something like that. So,
Well,
in other
let's
words,
Yeah.
why don't we go
just
through the
start me from
slide
the
deck? Yeah.
yeah, if
Do you
you don't
want do you
mind,
want to do
start
the
me from
slide
the
deck,
very
Mark?
beginning and explain what it is this program.
So, Joe, my name is Mark DeTondo. I work in the Retirement Plan Services Department for Lafayette Life.
Okay.
And all I do is sell pension plans to small business owners. So that's what we're talking about, pension plans.
Okay. And I guess I saw I saw the census part of the application, get that started, and basically we just need to fill that out and see where we go from there. Is that what you're saying?
Well, there's one more form. That was a proposal request form, and then there is a census. Yes, that's all you need to start.
Okay.
That's this little guy right here.
Yep.
Yeah. So one more question I have. So usually I see when we talk to business owners, there are people who haven't started a plan like profit sharing plan or cash balance plan. So some I see they already have it. So let's say someone who wants to start brand new, does Lafayette provide any assistance using their TPA? Do you provide any TPA from your side, or is
Yeah,
something
we
like,
are we are a TPA.
okay, so we don't have to have an outsider to do
You
this.
can, perfectly fine, but we are a TPA.
Okay,
So
so there's
filling
sometimes,
out the form and all of that stuff
yeah.
leads to that TPA conversation and fiduciary side, right?
Exactly, because sometimes they may already have a plan. I see some business owners, they straight away use Fidelity, nothing else they know. They create solo 401k and put everything in stocks. So they don't even know the other side of it. That's why they're just doing it. So maybe if we can bring those kind of a people, I think the team from Lafayette can take care of everything. We don't need to go for a third party person. Okay, I got it.
Jay,
Thank
90 to 95% of the work I do is adding a cash balance plan to an existing 401k.
you. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
So I was gonna say, as you can see, there's a lot of interest. Mark, do you want to go through the slides?
Sure.
I can move
I
them
don't
through.
necessarily have to go through all of them, but we can go, just,
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
we'll hit a few in here. So we already know the strength of Lafayette.
Let's stop there. Stop there. This is why people do these plans.
Okay.
Okay, so this is what you have to understand, and this is the first conversation you need to have with a business owner. When someone does their tax returns, okay, and they have a profit of $647,000, okay, they're paying 37% in taxes.
Hmm.
So when they do their taxes, they pay from the bottom of the federal tax bracket on up. So at 431, they pay 35%. At 340, they pay 32%. That doesn't even count state. Okay. However, when they take the money out, they get 27,000 automatically as a deduction, and then the next 20,000 they pay at 10%. And then over 20 to the next 83, they pay between 10 and 22%. So they're paying at the bottom rate when they're paying it in, and when they're taking it out, they're paying from the top down. That's very important to understand.
Go
Okay?
again.
And according to this study done by Boston College, the average 1% of all taxpayers in America pay 19.1% in federal taxes in retirement.
Wow.
So they're getting 37 plus state, and they're paying 19 plus state when they take it out. Clear?
Sure.
Can you break that down a little bit more, Mark? Because this is very new to me, but it is interesting, and I think I may have a market for it. Can you kind of break that down a little bit more for me?
Yeah, sure. So you have a business owner that in 2025 is going to have a profit of 647,000. When his tax accountant does his tax returns, he or she's going to pay 37% of that money in taxes. That's just a given. So they go to the bottom line and they go to whatever their profit is, and they go to where this scale is. And so if they're over 647,000, they're paying 37%.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about gross income for the business.
No, I'm talking about gross profit.
Okay.
after W-2 income. Typically, it's their K-1 on an S corp, and the profit on a C corp.
So whatever they're actually taking home.
No, whatever the company is making, because this is a company contribution.
Right.
There's no money
Yes.
coming out of the employee or the owner out of their own pocket. This is all company money in a cash balance plan.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Okay, so Mark, let's just use me as an example. I have a S corp.
Yep.
I don't care to use me. I saw that, Phil.
Okay, go for it.
Let's just use me as an example. And I'm just going to pick a number off the chart. Let's just say that I'm at over 178,000 after
Okay.
all the expenses are taken off and everything. So I'm
Yeah,
at
so
that 20.
you're
so I'm
you're
gonna
paying
pay
24% plus state.
plus state. So what can I do to reduce that? Is that what this
You can
whole
set up a cash
conversation is
balance
about?
plan based on your W-2 income and your age, and we'll tell you what you're going to subtract from that $160,000 of profit. Because let's just say it's 150,000. Now your profit's 10 grand.
So whatever
It's a
I
top
put,
line deduction.
okay,
And
I'm- okay.
so what happens? So Mark, if I will kind of interject here. So basically, if this is the top, if that's the top line, so Teresa makes a profit of 178, we reposition 150,000, hypothetically speaking, into a cash balance plan, which will give her a deduction of 150,000 as a top line deduction. So
That's right.
So you're essentially taking the 24% federal tax bracket and knocking it down to 10%.
Mark, is this the
Right.
same thing as restricted property trusts?
I'm not familiar with the restricted property trust, but this is a top line deduction for all small business owners. It doesn't matter the entity.
Yeah, RPTs work the same as you're essentially reducing your taxable income on the business by 100K or so, and you do it for 5 years, essentially is how those work. So it seems very
Well,
similar.
I'm just using a number. I mean, I don't know how old that young lady is, and so I don't know what her contribution is. It could be 350,000. I don't know.
She's very young, very
Yeah.
young.
Okay.
Okay,
So-
Phil.
Call
So
a
let me
spade a
ask
spade.
you, Mark, now, is this has got to be different somehow than contributing to a IRA to help reduce your tax?
No, it's the same thing except it's on steroids.
It's on what?
Steroids.
Steroids.
Oh,
Juice.
okay.
It's
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
the
like
same
you
exact
think,
calculation.
Okay.
because let's
So-
be honest, when you think of business owners, what's the one thing they always talk to you about?
Reducing their
about-
taxes. Yeah.
Exactly. So this is where we start the vehicle for something like that. Now, I'll actually ask a question because as you can see, there's some foreign nationals, so to speak, on this call who also deal with foreign nationals who have controlled groups. For example's sake, one person might have 5 LLCs, and one might hold a hotel, one might hold a medical facility, one might hold a gas station. Can they do a profit share or a pension on one and not the rest of them? Or because their social is tied to all 5, you have to do all 5?
It all depends on the percentage of ownership. If
Really?
that person owns like 25% of all 5, and then he can just do it on one. But if he owns 80% of more than one, then he has to include that other business.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's really good to know. Really, really good to know.
So
Now,
he
is that-
might own 100% of one business and 25% of the other 4. No, but he might own 100% of one business and 80% of the second. Then yes.
Okay, spouse, like spouse owns one, he owns one. Would it be
Yeah, that's a control group. That's
okay?
yeah.
That's what I want to make sure because we
Yeah.
lost the opportunity because the wife had the big number on hers, husband was percentages, but yeah. So just curious on that.
And what I would tell you, Phil, is just have them talk to their CPA because they know more about control groups and we take their judgment than us basing it on our judgment.
Fair point. Fair point. Okay, well, that was good. Joe, did that kind of answer or help out on your question for the tax brackets and everything?
Oh, I understand the tax brackets, and I just I guess I'm a little light on the mechanics of exactly how you would propose this, and exactly how we're reducing this client down from a 37% to a 10%. I'm just a little hazy on that as well, but I'll get the
Okay, Joe, let me
material.
let me say it this way. They had a profit of $647,000. Okay?
Mhm.
They set up a cash balance plan and they can put in 647,000 in the plan because he's an older person making a lot of money. That
So
wipes
he
out the
has to
tax.
so he has to physically take this money and put it somewhere. No
Oh, of
words.
course. It's not a depreciation, it's actual dollars and cents.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say for some people, is there definitions in here of how cash balance plans work so we can maybe show them some of the perks on that?
I can send you some brochures and they can do some reading.
Yeah, I'll be
Yeah.
glad to.
Yeah, because the big thing is, Joe, like you're basically anytime you take an asset and you're transferring it to get a tax deduction, you're going to get taxed on it later, right? So the idea is that everyone that we want to work with is always looking for deductions for today because that's going to help them with their current tax structure and
Sure.
hopefully kick the can down the road so there's less taxes when they retire.
Got you.
So you're leveraging these assets today to severely reduce the overall taxation for the customer. So they're kicking the can down the road. But if I recall too, not to overcomplicate this, is there not ways where we can, with season money, move assets from a controlled like cash balance plan into a life policy and reduce the taxation on like a LERP later on too, or something like that?
Yeah, yeah. Let's
That's
not
a,
talk about that today.
okay, yeah, a little too high. All right, just making sure. Um,
So, so Phil, I want to interject and ask you a question. So
mhm.
you brought up the thing about life insurance. So Mark, here's my question to you, and I apologize. I was about 8 minutes late getting on the call, so I may have already missed the introduction. I apologize for that. But what type of plan is this? Is this all come about through a life insurance contract, or is this something else, just moving money from the business account into another plan for those tax savings?
Why would I give you a presentation on something you're not going to make money on, Teresa? Come on.
I know, Phil, I'm just trying to catch up. I'm sorry, I was late to the ball game.
It's all good. So, Mark, do you want to answer that?
So Teresa, this is a retirement plan for small businesses.
And you can
Okay.
use
Okay,
life
so the money's
insurance
going into
instead.
a retirement plan.
But you can get paid on it, Teresa. And on top of that, to leverage the amount of money, you can use things like whole life insurance to give you larger deductions. So oftentimes, so if you had 647,000 going into a cash balance plan, we can do what, half of that into a whole life? So like
Yeah,
325,
40%.
40%. Okay. So Teresa, you're looking at a premium there of, let's just say 300 or yeah, 300 to keep it easy on that type of plan. And now all of a sudden, one, you're giving the client death benefit protection,
Mhm.
and then you're also getting deductions, which is what they're really looking for. Remember, in all of this, we're incorporating life insurance, but the overarching concern, which all business owners have, is taxation. So we're trying to mitigate taxation by incorporating a whole life policy, but it will serve two purposes because there's a death benefit attached, right? And so on and so forth. So you're going to get compensation on the life insurance policy if they want to integrate um, annuities, they can do that too. So you get paid on that as well. Because Jay asked a question, I think, before he jumped on. Client doesn't want to do anything with life insurance. Maybe they're uninsurable. Well, guess what? You can throw money in on the fixed index annuity side and it'll work its weight as well. So really it's just understanding and Mark, if I'm speaking out of context, correct me, but really what I would say is out of all of this and what we're talking about today, because these are a lot of great questions, business owners, doesn't matter the size, it can be one, it can be many, census and the golden ticket form. And then what happens is Mark's team puts together proposals where we can review, see what makes sense, and then ultimately the client can do 647,000. In this example that we use, this big ticket case, they don't have to, they can reduce that, but it just depends on how much they want to save in taxes, how much they want to keep. And then ultimately from there, we piece in how much you want to put in insurance or annuities or both.
Okay, what if I've got a client, and I do, that I've already got $1 million IULs in place? Can we incorporate that some way with this? No?
No.
Okay. Don't sugarcoat it, Mark. Put it to me straight. I just want to know straight up.
There's no gray in my life.
Yeah.
So I get the part about the top line deduction and all that. You got 647 taking it down, so you go from 37% bracket to that 10 or 12 or whatever. Uh, what happens when you start taking income back out of it? That's ordinary income tax or
It's ordinary income. So that's why we have the bottom slide. According to this study, the person is saving 37, but only paying 19.1 in the future. And you also have to realize that RMDs don't start at till 73, and then in 2030 it goes to 74, and then in 2033 it goes to 75.
So really kick the can down the road.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great saving. So 27%, hypothetically speaking, if we're talking, the big number down to the little number for, 19% later on, I think that's a good day. Because again, it's all about deferring your taxes, saving what you got now, because no one likes getting that big old bill from the government. Like I finally just got my last K1 in from last year, literally today, about an hour before we got on this call, so I can finally pay my taxes. And even then, I'm still not looking forward to it too. So, this is the kind of stuff that will really help out, again, our business owners, big and small. And much like Teresa already mentioned, being a business owner herself, this is something that even from your standpoint, exploring, figuring out if there's an opportunity from your end too. It doesn't have to be life insurance, it can be annuities, things like that as well. From that standpoint, to understand how you can save on taxes and also grow, and know what you're doing so you can help your clients. So it's a double win, in my opinion.
I have a
Prasanna,
Go
you
to
have
the
a
next
question?
slide. See what
Prasanna,
this
did you
might
want to
help
ask
a
a
little
question?
bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, a couple of questions, Mark. Once the client starts this plan, how long do they have to continue on this plan?
They need to fund it for 5 years minimum.
5 years minimum.
But to normal retirement age, typically 62. Unless they're already fit, or if they're already 60, then it's 5 years. If they're 56, let's put it this way. Anyone under 57 can fund it to 62. Anyone over 57 can fund it for 5 years.
So, this small business owners, let's say they have a good profit or good year this year, and they're making like, as you said, 650K, and they're good this year. Next year, they don't have any profits. How does this work?
They don't do a cash balance plan.
But they don't know that yet, right? They're hoping like, they'll
No, that's not a good candidate for us. You need someone that has consistent cash flow that knows that they can fund it for 5 years.
Okay. Okay. And what happens if the business, if they decide to sell the business within that 5 years?
That's a different story. Then we just convert it to IRAs and they roll it over to an IRA and then they can do whatever they want with the money. Be brutally frank with you.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, that's fine. Good questions.
That's a great question.
5 years or?
Sandy, did you have a question?
Yeah. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, you're a little faint, but I can hear you.
Give me 1 second, please.
Sure.
Is it better now?
Yeah.
Okay. So my question was, do they need to fund the same amount for all 5 years, or they can change the amount? This year they probably funded say 300,000. Next year, can they go down to 100,000, or it has to be the same?
So it's predicated on age and income. So let's just say they're 50 years old and they're making $200,000 a year. That will determine how much they can put in for that year and that amount. And the next year they're a year older and say they drop their income down to 100, then yes, the contribution can change. Big asterisk here, guys. If you put life insurance inside of these plans, okay, let's just say, let me give you an example. You have a contribution of $100,000. 40% is going into life. Okay. Then the next year you want to reduce the contribution to 50,000. You can't. Because 40,000 has to go in for the life because you can't have 100% go to life. So the most you could reduce that 100, okay, would be to 80,000 because we can move that life to 50%. That's why we only use 40. So you got to be careful if you're using life insurance in these plans that you don't have major changes in the contribution amount.
So I guess to piggyback off of that, would that be the same with annuities with like the percentages? What are the percentages?
No, I know if you have annuity only, then you can, your income changes dramatically, then you can reduce your contribution.
Okay. So you're not within the confines of life insurance typical funding
Right.
strategies.
Life insurance does put some restrictions on it. There's no question. But again, we will shy away from those businesses that are roller coasters.
Yeah, it
We're
makes
not
sense.
looking for the realtor that had a great year in 2021. Okay, and that
I
are
think all
not,
of them did.
we're not looking for that person.
That's a fair point. Fair point. So
And I know, guys, I'm very blunt, but I deal with this every single day, and these questions come up to me every single year. Hey, I can't fund it this year. Well, when you talked to me last year, you said, and I say you need to fund this for 5 years. Did I not say 5 years?
Yep. Tiffany, you have a question?
Here's what happens. I don't
Oh,
care.
sorry.
Okay? I don't care. But if they get audited by the IRS because they shut down the plan, they could lose they could use the year before's deduction. So that's a big problem. I don't want to cause problems for you guys. I'd rather walk away from a sale than make sure and make sure that it's going to be solid for you than take a speculative sale saying, well, they might be able to fund it next year, but they might not be able to. You can still do a DC. That's why I'm doing this. They can still do a 401k with a profit sharing and still fund it with $70,000. And if they don't have that next year, then they don't have to fund it because there's no requirement on a defined contribution plan.
I have a question on the life portion that you talking about, that life example you gave with the 40K. Is the life contribution for all 5 years, are you set at a percentage or are you setting it at a dollar value? You sounded like you were setting it at a dollar value. You want to make sure
No, I'm setting it at a percentage, Demetrius. I'm setting it at a percentage. So on 100,000, they could put up to $40,000 into the life insurance. If they want to put 30, they want to put 20, that's fine, but they can put as much as 40.
as much as 40.
I think he's talking recurring though, because with recurring, you have to still think of the annual premium for the life.
Guys, it's whole life insurance. So once you
Yeah.
start funding 40,000, it's not an IUL. You
Yeah.
can't change that contribution.
Right.
Regimented.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
And then on the dependency, the thing where you said it depending on the age and income, that sounds like it changes every year. Is there a schedule for that, or I mean, when you're looking at forecasting, uh, how do you manage that? If you just said depending on age and income, I know you can.
Well, typically businesses that do this have had a history of consistent income. So the last 3 years in a row, they made $250,000,
Okay.
and that's predicted for the next foreseeable future.
Okay.
Mark, this is Tiffany. Quick question. I want to let you get through
Sure.
the rest of your information though. So, an ideal client would be, would you say someone or a small business that has been around and consistent for the 5 years? Like you just mentioned 3 years, but what is the ideal client for this?
I like, so an ideal client. That's a great question, Tiffany. Thanks for that. So consistent income for the last 3 to 5 years. Expect to continue that same trajectory. Older owner, younger employees,
Okay,
looking for major tax deduction because the business is very profitable.
understood. Thank you.
Okay. It doesn't have to be a 20, 30, 40 person business. It could be one person.
Yeah, I was gonna say I might even look at it for myself and my wife because we're 50-50 owners of Valor. So I mean, even from that standpoint, there's definitely opportunity for us to even look at that and explore it for sure.
Right.
You guys turn anybody away on this? What's the turn down rate?
What do you mean turn down? I take all proposals, and then people. The reason people don't do this, Demetrius, is because they can't commit those 5 years. When I get on the phone or on a Zoom call with them, I make it perfectly clear I'm looking for a 5 year commitment.
Okay.
I don't want to get you in trouble because I know in this situation a little bit more about this than you do. So I want to protect you from you.
So
And
Mark,
I don't
That's
mean that in a mean way.
no, it's a good way. As I say, I tell people all the time, I don't pay people or people don't pay me to look pretty. They pay me to tell them when to duck, you know? And these cash balance plans and things like that, you need someone in your corner to tell you when to duck for sure.
We can go over a situation. You can send in a proposal request form. We can do a proposal and then we can talk about it. Maybe it's not a good fit. Maybe it is. I don't know. The whole thing is let's start with small business owners that fit the criteria I discussed with Tiffany. 3 to 5 years of solid earnings, projected to continue to be that same trajectory, profitable, looking for tax deductions.
So if I got a client that's got a personal income of 3 million a year. So, and I've got, like I said, that's one of the clients I've got $1 million IUL with, but we could leave that issue to the side. That wouldn't have to be involved in this. If he's
Right.
looking
So,
for, like you said, if he's looking for a way, which I'm sure he is, I mean, he's always looking for a way to reduce his tax obligation. So we could approach that client with this program. Uh, And yeah, I mean, I know his income is consistent, so that's not an issue.
Yeah,
So is that
he's a
a
perfect candidate.
okay?
so what I'll do just real quick while everyone is in here, I'll put the forms in the chat that you need that you can download, but I will also in the weekly newsletter that I send out on Saturdays will include the forms in there too. Okay.
Okay.
But if you have the ability to just grab them from the chat, you can do that. They're all right there and it's the cool thing about this is it's pretty straightforward. I mean, it's pretty easy. I think the question I would have, Mark, so we talk about cash balance plans and opportunities. Someone already has a 401k and
Yep.
they want to reposition to a better plan, whether pension or adding on the cash balance plan on top. How do we
Right.
tackle that? Do you need forms from their current
So
plans
the
as
only
well?
form that we will need is their plan documents, and that's a PDF that they can get right off the site from their existing 401k. They don't even have to change existing 401ks. We don't have a platform. So
Right.
they can leave their Fidelity account, their Putnam account, their Empower account, and just add the cash balance.
Awesome. Awesome. So very
If you
simple.
if you scroll down, there's some examples. I'll show you that if you wanna just jump to that because we're not gonna get through all these.
Yeah.
All right, so let's look at this one. Just go to this one. This is a good example. Go back one slide, please.
Yep.
Okay, so these are cases I've actually sold. We have a dentist, actually two dentists, ages 52 and 39, owning 80 and 20% of the business. The older dentist makes 500, the younger dentist makes 200. They have 5 full-time employees. We have an office manager, we have a hygienist, and then we have 3 staff. Notice we have job classifications. Next slide.
Slide it is.
So this is what they can do. So they can do a SEP and they can do 101,000. They can do a profit sharing. That same contribution is 101,000 because a SEP and a profit sharing plan is the same calculation, 25% of income. Okay. But then they can add a 401k to that profit sharing. And now it goes up to 128,500. If they wanted to, they could do a traditional defined benefit. The reason why they didn't do that is because they had to give their employees $126,000. So that was out. But let's look at the cash balance combined with the 401k. Their contribution for the two owners is $360,000. They have to give their employees $9,780. Total $370,000. They're saving $148,000 in taxes. So I'll ask you guys all a question. If I were to give you $370,000, would you give me 122 back or 222 back? 222,000 back? I've given you 370. Would you give me 220 back?
Sure.
That's all we're doing.
Yeah, we're still profiting.
And it doesn't have to have these programs. If the owner doesn't want to include the employees in this, if he just wants to set up something for himself, that's not a problem. Is that correct? In other words,
No, that is not correct.
Yeah.
okay.
It's an ERISA plan. They have to include all their employees, but they don't all have to be in the cash balance plan.
So you can give them something, Joe, but like as you saw the cash balance plan, in the 401k profit share, you're getting a huge amount for the business owners, which is again going to take
Right.
their tax deductions down. So for less than 10 grand, for all the other employees, it's a huge win. It's a huge win. So
And there's a vesting schedule, guys. So on the profit sharing, there's a 6-year vesting schedule. So it acts as golden handcuffs, but if they don't stay, the money goes back into the company,
that's true.
into what we call the non-forfeiture pool.
Okay. You say you're going to send some information out, Phil?
Yeah.
Saturday?
I'm also going to send you, Phil, 2 articles from the Wall Street Journal that depicts exactly what I'm saying. They break this down in lay terms about why cash balance plans are so popular.
Okay.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I'd like to read those.
So let's see.
I also can send you a video if you guys have ever have insomnia and you can't sleep. You can just listen to me for 45 minutes and I'll go over all these slides.
I can do that. Yeah, I'd like to have the video too.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll get all that to you.
Yeah, I'll send it out. I'll send it out this weekend. So I send out a newsletter every Saturday morning. If you guys are not on the newsletter for some reason, I don't know why you wouldn't be, because you're obviously on this call. But just send me over your email. You can email me at phil@valorfs.com or text me, whatever. If you're not getting my newsletters, just let me know. But we'll have this detail and information because I think this is important. And I think, just really because we're getting close to the top of the hour. So what I would say is with all the questions that we have here, obviously, as you can understand, there's a lot of interest. But what I will share with you guys today is 2 things. One, if you want to go upstream in your clientele, if you're tired of just talking to people about term insurance, this is how you elevate your game. You talk to business owners, Simple questions like, hey, did you get enough tax deductions last year? Are you looking for more tax deductions? If I could show you a way to get more tax deductions, would you be interested? Here's what I do. So something very simple. Now, on the other hand, too, as Mark has given us so far about 50 minutes of his time, there's no such thing as a free lunch. So as we look at all these opportunities, as we look at everything that we've talked about today, I think it's only fair that we come up with a couple options, a couple clients that we can actually give back in production opportunity so we can test it out, start it out, and see. Like Joe, having a guy who's making 3 million a year, I know for a fact he needs a tax deduction conversation for
I
sure.
would think so.
Yeah. And
And I'm not an
I'll
accountant.
say
I
to you
mean,
guys, Phil, I appreciate the endorsement. Here's what I'll say.
yeah.
You guys get me some proposals, right? And then we'll jump on another call and we'll go over case studies.
Yeah.
I'll
Okay.
give you, but you give me a few.
Yep. It's all about scratching backs, right? No free lunches. We gotta if we walk away today with nothing but just
I'm in the
information.
life and living benefits business. So yeah.
Oh,
So
sorry,
it's
Joe. Yeah.
okay. Let's
My internet was jacking up, so I'm sorry if I was talking over you guys. I was just saying that, from the standpoint here, if we walk away just saying, hey, that was good information, it's like going to a football game and watching people just stand in a huddle for 2 hours. So let's actually put the plan in action. I will get this documentation out to everybody. And we got about 10 minutes left. So I didn't know, uh, Mark, if you wanted to say anything kind of in closing or if anyone had some additional
Well,
questions.
I just keep going. I want to go over a couple more slides. I have
Okay.
11 minutes.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm conscious of your time.
Okay,
So,
one thing I wanted to just talk about this for a second.
yeah.
If they have an existing SEP, you cannot add a cash balance plan in the same year that they have a SEP. But if they haven't funded it yet for 2025, tell them you might have a better option for them. Okay? That's all I'll say on that slide. Keep going. So this is what I do, guys. This is it. 90% of the work that I do is I have an existing 401k and I add a cash balance plan. Okay, go to the next slide because it'll show you what I'm saying. This is an actual case I did in Connecticut 5 years ago. They had the 401k already in place. They're funding the 401k match and they're giving their employees a profit sharing contribution. And then I went to the owner and I said, that's great. You're being very generous to your employees. But I can add another $220,000 to your retirement account, and you have to give them an additional $10,000. That's 95% going to him. That's a layup on a 6-foot rim because I'm only 5'7". I'm just showing you guys what's out there and what's available for you. I'm not asking anyone on this call to be an expert. All I'm asking you to do is fill out the proposal request form in the census accurately, and we'll do the work for you.
That one word that you said though, Mark, accurately is huge because again, it's garbage in, garbage out. So if you're talking to a client who doesn't want to disclose everything, it's not going to work. So we need to make sure that they're giving accurate numbers because these are ERISA plans. And with ERISA plans, you have to be like legit with those. Otherwise, you're going to have a big problem. Like
got you.
penalties. So it's a big deal.
Cool.
Keep going. No, that's way over their head right now. I'm done.
Yep.
Just keep going. No. Yep. No. Yes. Next one.
The next
Just
one
go back
after that?
one, Phil.
Oh, sorry. So okay.
Right there. Yeah. So okay. So this is an owner. So this one is $1 million. He's making $1 million in income. No idea what I'd like to plan, how much you make, contribute, maybe 50, maybe 500,000. So go to the next slide. This is the whole gamut, guys. This is what they can do. So if you're showing that $3 million guy what he can do a 412, putting away $340,000, saving $136,000 a year in taxes. And it's more today because this is an old deck.
Yep.
It's closer to 500,000 today.
Cool.
So I
I
was
just
going to
wanted to
say,
show that.
Mark, we do stuff with athletes too. So, we're putting like these kids are getting these NIL contracts and stuff into S
Yeah.
corps and moving them. You think there's some positioning that can be done to help them with taxes?
Well, go to my athlete. I mean, I don't know if it was
Because
before this or after this.
it was before. I saw a little something there which made me think about that.
Yeah. So I have an athlete. This is an actual case. He's an NBA player.
Yeah.
But what we did is we set up an NIL. We set up a 412E3 actually for his mom and dad and his brother. So his mom and check this out, guys. So go to the next slide. We're putting away $1 million, 983,000 to be exact. We're giving mom and dad 375 for dad, 300,000 for mom, and 199,000 for his brother and his marketing agent. But here's the key to this. And he's in the state of California. No, it's not LeBron. He's saving 500,000 in taxes for the next 10 years. So he's saving $5 million in taxes on a $10 million contribution. So that's pretty good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Second leg of the stool is mom and dad for the rest of their life are going to get $11,800 each per month until they die. That's $23,600 a month. And it's going to be like 5 years from now because this is 5 years old. The third leg of the stool is when mom and dad die, the athlete is getting $8 million back tax free.
That's a steal.
Unreal.
That's amazing. Michi, I hope you heard that.
Sign me up. Oh my
Just
God.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
So it can't be their NBA money. It can't be their NFL money. It can't be Major League Baseball money. They all have pensions.
Yep.
It's their side money.
Yep.
Okay. It's their shoe endorsements. It's their TV commercials. It's their podcast, whatever it is.
Just not the employment money.
Not from the, NBA, NFL, MLB, NHL, whatever. WNBA. Don't want to discriminate.
Smart move. So, all right. Anything else that you want to touch on? Or, I mean, these were all fantastic.
Those are super advanced stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. We'll keep it simple today.
This is the same thing with a college professor. So I did this case in Boston about 8 years ago. He's probably coming close to this closing out. So it's a college professor. He's W-2 from his employer, but he has 50,000 from Schedule C income. So he comes to me and says, Mark, I don't need this money. What can I do? Next slide. So we put 25,000 in the cash balance plan. We set up a separate 401k because he's got for his Schedule C income for 21,468, and we paid 3532 in taxes. He was going to pay 22,000 before I met him in taxes. Now he's about another $800,000 in retirement income for this plan.
That's unreal.
It's funny.
I didn't know you could do that if you're maxing out your 401k.
No, he's doing a 403b.
Okay. Interesting. Oh, that's right. Teacher.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. So I think
guys, I have a lot of tricks up my sleeve, but they're all approved by ERISA. I'm never going to jail. Everything we do is compliance approved. And but there's a lot we can do for these small business owners. Buy-sell agreements, succession planning, do it all.
Let me ask you, Mark. Always a fun question because, as everyone always says, what's in it for them? The question I would ask is Do you do case splits? Is it
No,
no? Nothing?
no,
You get paid by
not
Lafayette?
not right now.
Not right. Ah, okay. So guys, learn it, love it, take advantage of it. You got some free resources to help you make a ton of money. Not a bad day. So, any last questions? You got a
Here's
lot
what
of
I'll promise. You guys
surprise
get me a few
faces.
case studies and I'll do a deeper dive so you guys have a better working understanding of this. But I promise you, if you all listen to the video that we did 2 years ago, it'll start to sink in. And there's a ton of materials that we will send to Phil and Phil will distribute to you. I'll talk to Marco after this call, Phil.
Thanks, Mark.
I appreciate it, Mark. Like truly, guys, the best way you can compliment someone, as we always like to say, is referrals. Well, this is an opportunity for you guys to refer back some of what you learned today. Mark's info on the screen here. I'll have it in the newsletter as well. But really, it's all about who you know. You don't have to know it all, but the opportunity is at your doorstep to really elevate your game and grow and basically say that you have a team to help you with this. So myself, Mark, you have the right people at your doorstep to get you what you need. So it's just a matter of taking advantage of it. So, for everybody here on this call, I look forward to the partnership. Jaya, for your question, there are no index strategies at Lafayette. It's true whole life. So they're part of Western and Southern, and the other part is Columbus, which is the
But there are
IUS.
index strategies in our group annuity.
Right, right. So what I would say is when we look at a client, figure out what makes sense for them because we might do bits and pieces from here and there. So, but anyway, all this will be saved too. Appreciate the time, guys. You have a great rest of your day, great weekend, and for those who are coming to the summit that I'm doing, the 12th to the 14th in Nashville, look forward to seeing you too. Everyone have a great rest of your day, and
Thanks,
see you next
Phil.
week. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, Phil.
Thanks,
Take care,
Phil.
guys.
Great stuff, guys.
Thanks, Mark.
See
Thank
ya.
you.